imagine this, holding back a dancing, prancing, rocket-like horse, waiting for the buzzer to go off in the short, skinny chute at a rodeo. As you're waiting and listening and finally hear the loud burst, it's all full speed ahead from there, zipping and turning around 3 barrels in a clover-leaf pattern. Dirt's flying, crowds cheering, and you're speeding toward the finish line. Trying to get the fastest time, you're kicking and holding on, because whoever has the fastest time wins the big bucks. But what is this fabulous event I'm speaking of? Well, it's not bull riding. It's barrel racing. Barrel racing is the wonderful rodeo event in which a horse and a rider attempt to run around 3 barrels in a triangular pattern. This event tests the horsemanship skills of the rider and the athletic abilities of the horse. They run as fast as they can, trying to get the fastest time. The rider's time depends on several factors, most commonly the horse's physical and mental conditions, the rider's horsemanship abilities, and the type of ground or footing in the arena. But to make sure your horse can get a winning time around 17 seconds, you need to feed it, bathe it, brush it, give it water and any other medicines it might need every day. You also need to ride the horse every day, walking, trotting, and running the barrel pattern so it knows what to do and where to go when it enters the arena. Now, I know this might sound easy, running around 3 barrels on a fast horse, but the truth is, it's not. You can't just hop on a horse and say, giddy up, let's race. I mean, you're getting times of 18, 17, or even 16 seconds while running over 130 yards. And that's not even including all the spins and turns around the barrels. But your horse isn't the only one that needs training. You too need to know the pattern like the back of your hand. You also need to have good horsemanship skills. So if your horse gets a bit confused, you need to be able to steer it in the right direction. You need to know how to slow down, speed up, tell the horse when to turn around the barrel, and most importantly, you need to know how to hold on. And trust me, that will come in handy. I know how these barrel horses can get. They're always running and jumping and just plain out of control. So I hope I've explained to you that barrel racing is the most important rodeo event. And that next time you have a chance to see these girls on fast horses, you do. And maybe even one day you can barrel racing a shot for yourself. Well, I hope you know a bit more about barrel racing, because it's not over yet. Get ready, get set, first barrel race!
When you think of color, what comes to mind? Paint, markers, or maybe even colored pencils? For me, I think crayons. Okay, you might believe that a 6th grader like me still using crayons is a little strange. Talk about being stuck in my childhood. But seriously, who would have thought that colored wax is fun for kids? I mean, I wouldn't have. Europe was the first to come up with something close to the crayon. They used charcoal and oil to make black crayons. They were black due to the color in the charcoal. As time went on, oil was dropped on the recipe. These crayons were altered to make different colors instead of black. They added powdered pigments to the concoction. When oil was subtracted from the mix, it made the crayons easier to use and also allowed the color to reflect more. Then, guess who in America came up with the real crayon that almost everyone has used? If you guessed Crayola, then ding ding ding, you're right. Around 1885, 2 men named Edwin Binney and C. Harold Smith formed the partnership of Binney and Smith. They purchased a stone mill in eastern Pennsylvania and started making like pencils for schools. I guess pencils really did originate from Pennsylvania. Then, Binney and Smith began to do research into non-toxic and colorful drawing tools for kids. They already invented a new wax crayon that they used to mark crates and barrels. However, it was filled with carbon black, which was way too lethal for children to use. In 1903, Crayola crayon was introduced by Binney and Smith. The very first box of Crayola crayons was purchased also in 1903. The box was worth a nickel and included 8 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, black, and brown. Crayola, the company's label, was actually not created by Binney or Smith, but by Binney's wife, Alice Binney. She utilized 2 French words, cray, meaning chalk, and oleaginous, meaning oily, and combined them to make Crayola. This meaning stronger than chalk, but more waxy than oily. In 1903, the first box of crayons included the colors of the rainbow, plus black and brown. From then on, the crayon box was extensive and had more colors than ever before, all the way to over 120 colors in the largest box. Crayons can be for anyone, big or small, young or old. It doesn't matter, just color. Which that reminds me, I annoying, but not as annoying as having braces. To begin with, braces are annoying because of all the cruel nicknames. Now brace yourself. No pun intended. For the oldest name in the book, Train Tracks. The history on his name could go on forever. Then we have Tin Grin, Metal Mouth, Brace Face, and Iron Man. Oh, and don't even get me started on how they even have holiday nicknames. I mean, for real, Tinsel Teeth? That's just not even right. Believe it or not, I had braces 2 years ago when I was in the 4th grade, and that's when the torture began. So, one day, I went to my dad's house, not even thinking about how he had not seen my new metal-covered teeth. And what did I get? That's right, made fun of. By my own dad. Now take for granted he was just being silly, but the rude yet clever nicknames he called me broke my little heart. And just think, this is only the beginning of how annoying braces are. Furthermore, need I say, is the new diet I have to live by. I can barely eat anything with braces. Most people say, oh, they can't be that bad, or hey, just think, you're only not allowed to have gum, but this is not the case. Braces are horrible, and gum is one of the only candy-type foods I am allowed to eat. The thing that stinks most, though, is all the food that is not permitted in my new diet. This consists of hard, sticky, and sweet foods and snacks like popcorn, ice, Doritos, Cheetos, Fritos, and Tostitos, pretzels, caramels, and most candy in general. I'm not allowed to bite with my front teeth, which means no chewing meat off bones, corn on the cob, and even the unusual chewing on pens and pencils. At this rate, why don't you just give me a big bowl of green Jell-O and call it a day? I do remember on one special occasion, though, one of my friends who had braces at the time, not to mention she was a complete candy fanatic, pulled off 3 brackets while eating caramel candies. Now, I hope you realize that braces are way worse than they appear. Ultimately, braces are a pain in the neck, but are worth it in the long run. And yes, the nicknames and strict diet can be very hard to adjust to, but I got used to it. Now, this goofy little brace face better be the star of a Colgate commercial when I get my braces off. I mean, how would I not with those beautifully straight curly legs?
Imagine yourself as a pitcher on a Major League Baseball field. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And then you hear the most horrific announcement ever.
Now batting for the Red Sox, David Ortiz.
Your heart stops as you watch him make his way to the plate. You do your best to keep your cool. Jan Delgado, your catcher, gives you the sign for a curveball. From the stretch, you get into position. And then, the ball zooms towards the plate, and just before it curves, crack! You automatically know you can kiss your ball and your career goodbye. Being a professional baseball pitcher is seriously hard. You must be alert and focused, just as Justin Verlander or CC Sabathia. And not only that, you must memorize and know how to grip different pitches. For instance, if you threw a breaking ball wrong, a batter can easily pick up on it and get a base hit, or even worse, a home run. Pitching isn't just a physical game, it's also mental. If you stay cool, calm, and collective, you do great. But if you freak out when a batter like Mike Trout or Albert Pujols comes to the plate, you're obviously not going to do so well. Tanaka demonstrates this perfectly. He was recently signed to the Yankees to pitch. On his first pitch, he was asked to throw a curveball, but the rotation got horribly messed up. Prince Fielder noticed it and crushed it out of the park. But later on, Tanaka struck out 10 batters. 10 batters! In an interview, he said he just calmed down and focused on what he was supposed to be doing. So now that you know just some of the hardships that pitchers have to go through, imagine yourself in the situation once more, except from a fan's point of view. Bases loaded, 2 outs. David Ortiz just hits a home run off the pitcher. friend says the picture stinks. But what do you think?
When someone mentioned September 11, 2001, most of us stop in our tracks, and our memory immediately takes us back to exactly what we were doing that day. Those memories evoke painful emotions for every American. But for my parents, the day was filled with mixed emotions. Most Americans found themselves in the middle of their daily routine, getting their children off to school or driving to work. It was an ordinary day, or so it seemed. For my parents, things were a little different. The usual sounds of their morning were replaced with beeping machines and chaotic surroundings. You see, my mom was in the hospital, in labor, with me. 8:46 a.m., hijackers aboard American Airlines Flight 11 crashed the plane into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, killing everyone on board and hundreds inside the building. My dad could not believe what he was seeing, and my poor mom had no idea what was even happening. 9:03 a.m., terrorists crashed United Airlines Flight 175 into the South Tower, also killing everyone on board and a swarm of people trapped in the tower. My dad was trying so hard to be attentive to my mom, but as a native New Yorker, he could not believe his city was under attack. Just when he didn't think it could get any worse, it did. 9:37 a.m., hijackers embarked Flight 77, crashing the plane into the west side of the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., murdering 59 passengers aboard and 125 inside the building. Then, at 10:07 a.m., plane taking over Flight 93 smashed into a field in Pennsylvania, perishing all 40 people consigned. In a matter of 1 hour and 45 minutes, 2,996 people lost their lives. Clearly by then, America was under attack. My dad and citizens everywhere were devastated. On a sunny September morning, the United States had been fired upon in the Big Apple, causing widespread grief throughout our nation. But 1,080 miles south of the heartbreak, my parents were experiencing mixed emotions. Heartbroken for our country, but elated over the 7-pound bun of the joy they now held in their arms. When people hear I was born on this tragic day, they seem frightened at the thought. But for my family, we celebrate a birthday. From the words of our then President George W. Bush, in a letter written to me, they call me September 11, 2001, the heart of the tragedy. In the midst of all the terror, a new life had been born, one that represents all those lost that day.
Today I would like to talk to you about a life-changing disease called Alzheimer's. It is a disease that not only changes the life of the patient, but of the whole family. My grandmother is the director of nurses at Diamond Ridge. There is a 28-bed Alzheimer's memory dementia unit. I've had the opportunity to visit there several times. I'll never forget the first time I visited. It was around 4:45 in the afternoon, a time of day that many residents' behaviors change. It is referred to as sundown syndrome. I was terrified and hid behind my grandma. She told me not to be afraid, that I would see the residents' faces change when they saw me and my sister Lexi. The first person I saw was a patient I will call Mary. She was talking very loud because she was hard of hearing to the nurse. She was confused and rambling. My grandma leaned over to talk to her in Akkadian. She told Mary that she had brought her some visitors. Mary outlived all of her family. Mary was a big lady with a crooked neck that almost laid on her shoulder. She could hardly lift her head to see us. Mary's voice went soft, and she raised her crooked finger and waved us over to her. I was frozen in place, but my sister Lexi went right up to Mary, so I did too. Mary raised her arms, and Lexi hugged her, so I did too. Mary squeezed us and said quietly, "Look, we're an Oreo cookie." This moment was a life-changing experience for me. Alzheimer's is a terrible disease that can begin as young as your 30s. The disease stage is mild, moderate, and severe, or final. Severe Alzheimer's has shown the brain has now completely shrunk, unable to talk, and they are completely relying on others for care. My grandma says she always looks into their eyes and wonders what they're thinking or trying to communicate, but can't. I'm going to make a scrapbook of the whole family and just things we've done with pictures of grandchildren when we were young, just in case this terrible disease should ever happen in my family. Mary taught me this. When she asked me how old I was, I told her 9. She told me she was 34. She was really 86. Mary could not remember what she had for lunch, but did tell me about the bar her and her husband owned. She talked about it in present tense because she thought he was still alive and they still owned the bar. We were going to bake Mary cupcakes, but she passed away suddenly. I wish I could have thanked her for the experience she gave me. God bless you, Mary.
I am the greatest, Muhammad Ali would chant, but not only did he scream it, he proved it by being brave. As a boxer, Muhammad Ali was entertaining. He could float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. He beat Sonny Liston despite being temporarily blinded in the 4th and 5th rounds. A tremendous victory, especially considering he was a 7-1 underdog, and that he might as well have been hitting a wall since Sonny Liston was such a huge wall of muscle. But that's not the point. Since now Muhammad Ali is champion, he made a career changing announcement. He would no longer be going by the name of Cassius Clay as his parents had named him. He would be Muhammad Ali, the Muslim, not the Christian. What, a boxer changing his name because of religion? People must have thought he was crazy, but he stood for it, even though it costed popularity. And as if defending his religion wasn't enough, he then refused to fight in the Vietnam War and was punished. What was his punishment, you might wonder? Oh, nothing much. He just got his heavyweight championship belt taken away and wasn't allowed to box. But during that time away from boxing, Ali worked with people like Malcolm X and helped influence the nation. Then, after a very difficult and long road, Ali returned after 3 long years. Although he was still defeating his opponents, his hand and foot speed were not as good as they used to be. So when he came across a worthy opponent, he made himself some new leverage. Wednesday, October 30th, 1974, Ali versus Foreman, often referred to as the Rumble in the Jungle, takes place. Foreman, stronger, younger, and more powerful, held the belt. But in the ring, what he knew about Muhammad Ali didn't help him, because he didn't fight like himself. He stood and was repeatedly hit until he retaliated and knocked Foreman out in the 8th round to win the heavyweight belt again. Sadly, Muhammad Ali now has Parkinson's disease, so he shakes uncontrollably and has some body stiffness, but he has not surrendered to the disease and courageously fights it every day. In conclusion, I feel Muhammad Ali has been brave all his life. He was heavyweight champion of the world 3 times, stood for his religious beliefs, and has left us all with a legacy to be brave no matter what life throws at us. And, as Muhammad Ali once said, he who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life.
Imagine being a bird flying high in the sky. Suddenly, your wings disappear. You fall to the ground. You feel a trembling beneath your body. When you look up, there are dinosaurs headed your way. You can barely scramble to your feet as you are trampled by the ginormous feet of each dinosaur. If you've ever been a 6th grader, then you can relate to being this tiny bird in a desert of dinosaurs. Oh, and those dinosaurs are otherwise known at Inverness Middle School as the 8th graders. Being a 6th grader has shown me many obstacles. 1, being low man on the totem pole. 2, learning the dress code. And 3, surviving the dreaded early morning wake-up call. Can you remember a time when you were top dog and suddenly fell to the bottom? I can. In elementary school, 5th graders were the top dogs. In other words, we ruled the school. Now, being a 6th grader is considerably different. When we walk through the halls, we hear, "Aw, look at the little 6th graders." To me, this is not a statement that screams we are the top dogs. In elementary school, dress code was never an issue. I never imagined what I wore to school could possibly get me in trouble. Showing my shoulders in a cute dress is a complete violation of dress code. Shorts that were once normal to me are now way too short. I thought this dress code thing would be a problem until I realized I could use it as an excuse to get my mom to buy me new clothes. Dress code, here I come. You know that feeling when you're warm and cozy, snuggled under your covers, that like you never want to leave your bed? Well, that feeling comes to a screeching halt when you start 6th grade. Gone are those glorious days of sleeping till 8 a.m. and arriving at school at 9 a.m. Welcome to the real world. Rise and shine, you better be at school on time. Despite these obstacles in the first half of this year, there are many perks to being a 6th grader. A few things I enjoy are no longer having to walk in a straight line with my hands down and my mouth shut. I've had a fantastic opportunity to meet new friends, and my favorite perk of all, freedom. In a few short months, I'll be one step closer to sleeping in late for summer break. Goodbye, totem pole.
With gun in hand, I stealthily tread towards the nearest tree to hide myself from enemy fire. As I slowly glance around the corner, all of a sudden, pop, 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 I feel a sharp pain in my right shoulder. I've been hit by a paintball. When playing paintball, there is a lot of running, dodging, shooting other players, and yikes, getting shot, of course. Playing paintball requires you to run back and forth behind cover and other objects to avoid getting shot. You are always on the move, shooting other players, ducking their fire, and moving closer to capture the enemy flag. Doing this game is actually really fun. Shooting other players is definitely the best part of playing paintball. After a long day of school, it's nice to be able to get rid of some of that stress my 6th grade teachers caused me. There's always that one guy that gets the lucky hit and takes me out of the game. I hate that. So if I ever get the chance to annihilate him with paint, I'm gonna light him up. The one downside of playing paintball is the fear and the act of getting shot. It just plain hurts. No, I mean really hurts. The place on your body that gets hit starts to sting and throb. It doesn't matter how many layers of clothes you have on, bruises start to form right away. I will never forget the first time I got shot. I realized I was out of ammo and I started calling for help from my teammates, when all of a sudden, 3 people from the other team popped out of cover and fired their fully automatic guns at me. The pain, oh the pain, felt like 20 bees stinging me in the leg all at once. Then I started to think, did I really pay to have this happen to me? To sum it up, paintball is a really fun sport to play. You get some exercise with all the running and dodging you have to do to avoid getting shot. You get to release some stress and shoot other players in a fun, pretty friendly environment, and occasionally you get attacked and suffer the pain of a paintball gunfire. Believe it or not, it's a great way to make new friends. Are you ready to come play?
Beep, beep, beep. This is the sound of a very cruel invention known as the alarm clock. Every morning, it insists that it is time to wake up. Here's a shocker. I don't want to, because I absolutely detest mornings. At the start of every morning, I'm snug as a bug in bed. Then reality hits. I have to heave myself out of bed again. Didn't I just do that yesterday? My eyes pop open to a pitch black room. It's only 6:15 in the morning. If the sun isn't up, why should I be? Like a zombie, I gradually rise to my bed, and I slowly make my way toward the door to face the harsh, the blinding kitchen light. Shortly after emerging from my bedroom, I notice my mom running around like a chicken with its head cut off, trying to get ready for work. When she finally acknowledges my existence, she greets me with a lovely good morning by my brain. Look who decided to come back from the dead. These sarcastic comments only make me want to crawl back into bed even more. If you haven't noticed, my mornings are off to a lovely start. No sarcasm. Although I hate mornings, it is critical for me to get ready. Let's be honest, these luxurious thoughts don't just happen. In the car, all I could daydream about was my gigantic fluffy bed. While my mom is prattling on about her latest coupon find, I'm half asleep. My head is resting in my palm, and my eyes are slowly drooping to close. It's not my fault I'm falling asleep in the car. After all, scientific studies have shown that the human brain isn't fully functional until after 10 a.m. Come on, people! Even science agrees that I am forced to wake up way too early. To sum up my thoughts, I absolutely, positively detest mornings. My morning starts off with a horrific sound coming from my alarm clock, insisting that it is time to get up. It doesn't get much better when my mom greets me with our lovely comments. And on top of it all, I am still forced to endure early morning activities. I am determined to put this injustice to a halt. So, if we all band together and put alarm clock companies out of business, we can all finally get some much needed shut-eye.
1 minute, you're fighting super beings in a galaxy far, far away. The next minute, you're on a beach feeding baby giraffes peanut M&Ms out of the palm of your hand. How is this possible, you ask? Through dreams, that's how. Some researchers suggest that dreams serve no real purpose, while others believe that dreaming is important for our mental and emotional well-being. Stress experienced during the day can be played out in strange ways at night in our dreams. Just ask my stepdad. When my mom has stress, she has crazy dreams. Once, in the middle of the night, my mom sat straight up and shouted, "The ceiling is on fire!" My dad jumped out of bed so fast, he sprained his back and he walked with a limp for 2 weeks. Another time, she got out of bed and ran around the bedroom screaming, "We have to feed the chickens!" The whole house woke up thinking there were farm animals loose in her bedroom. Sometimes people have extreme dreams that involves them walking around. Sleepwalkers can wander around in the middle of the night, not realizing where they are. My little brother used to sleepwalk. One night, my mom said she woke up thinking it was raining outside. But it wasn't raining. It was my little brother standing in the doorway. He thought he was in the bathroom. People are fascinated by dreams and their meanings. You can find many books written about interpreting dreams. Like, did you know that dreaming about a waterfall can mean that you're worried about finances? Or dreaming about a tidal wave can mean that you're overwhelmed with your responsibilities and you should delegate some of them to someone else. Dreaming about fire means you're completely burnt out and need a break. So if your mom starts dreaming about the ceiling being on fire, it might be time to help them around your house. The next time you have a dream, don't be afraid. Just realize that they're there to help you deal with life. So tonight, as you go to sleep, take the advice of this poem. Night is come, so go to sleep. What lies ahead are lovely dreams. Let all your problems and worries melt away, for tomorrow is going to be a